Hey students, I'm recording this because I've had many of you email me and ask me about what's going on with state testing, and so I wanted to explain it to you. I could have waited until the morning and recorded it in the office or whatever, but I don't know, it's just on my mind and I wanted to record it while it's fresh on my mind. Pardon me for being dressed down, but I am wearing a top shirt, so I guess that makes everything official. I'm sitting in my living room. In front of a painting. It looks nice. The lighting could be better, but whatever. So I want to explain to you, first of all, what happened and what we want your reaction to it to be. So first of all, the state, when we changed over to Common Core standards, which became official 2 years ago, we were still using the old EOC test, if you remember taking EOCs, and those were those were designed around the old Tennessee state standards, not the Common Core standards, but there was enough that matched that they reworked that test and made that test match what we were teaching. But they were initially going to use a test called PARCC, P-A-R-C-C. That was a test developed by Pearson around the Common Core standards. It had been piloted in New York and I think California and some other places. And so people felt very confident about the PARCC test. Well, for whatever reason, the PARCC test was controversial in some way. I know that they'd had some testing hiccups in New York and some other places. And so the state legislature, the people that, make laws, basically told the Department of Education for something like that, they have to bid it out. Now, what that means is that the state has to put out an RFP, which is an acronym that means, hey, we want to buy this thing from somebody. And so then companies can submit an RFP which says, okay, we will provide this service, we will do this for you for this amount of money. So Pearson and a few other companies submitted bids, and the bid that won was from a company called Measurement Inc., or Measurement Incorporated. It's a company out of Raleigh that, what they do as a business is they create and grade tests for states, for schools, and probably for other things. I'm not really sure. So they submitted the bid and they won the bid. So the state of Tennessee contracted with Measurement Inc. for a certain period of years to, sorry, the NFL draft keeps popping up on my phone, for a certain number of years to provide what was then called the Tennessee Ready Test. The Tennessee Ready Test was designed to replace English, math, and U.S. history EOCs. So, if you remember in the fall, the test was given on computer. And we didn't really have that many problems. It went really well. And but you have to understand, like half the schools in the state aren't on block schedule. So we are on block schedule, so we give a fall test and a spring test. Well, half the high schools in the state don't do that, and none of the elementary or middle schools were giving that test, so it was a very light load on their servers and everything, and so we tested in the fall, and it was successful. In the spring, when elementaries did their part 1 of their test, and elementaries and middle, they don't do semesters, they have classes that last all year. When they did their part 1, what happened is there was a server error of some kind. I don't know, I haven't done the research to find out what happened because I got better stuff to do. And the state basically told Measurement Inc., okay, as part of your contract, you said, your backup plan for any sort of computer glitches is to provide paper pencil testing. So they canceled all computer testing for the rest of the year and said Measurement Inc. must provide the test by paper pencil instead of computer. So Measurement Inc. then had to print and ship and, have the numbers right, first of all, but print and ship tests to every single elementary school, every single middle school, and every single high school in the state of Tennessee. Now, I don't know if this number is accurate, but if you add part 1 and part 2 together, that equals 5 million tests. So they got part 1 to everybody, but part 2 was delayed. At some point, the CEO of Measurement Inc. said that he wasn't sure if they would get tests to all schools by the time, they were ready, that they were supposed to test part 2. And so the State Department of Education in Tennessee made a decision to cancel part 2 of the test for the rest of the year for grades 3 through 8. For whatever reason, most high schools got their test for part 2. So we are continuing with part 2 as scheduled. We've got our test. We've shipped them out to all the locations. We're good to go. So that's why it doesn't affect us. Now, here are some things that if you are a sensible person, you're going to realize. If the state has canceled the contract with the company, who's going to be grading this test? The State Department has communicated to us that they are going to expedite the process to find a company who will score these tests. If you're a person with sense, you will realize we are not going to get them back for a while, which means the semester is going to end and we're not going to have any scores for you, which then means that these tests do not count as a grade for you. So that would beg the question of many students, why should I care? Why should I do well in this test? Why does it matter? The answer is, first of all, anytime you are given a task, you should always do your best on it. You shouldn't be looking at your performance on anything as what's in it for me. You should look at it as, how can I do my best on this? Second of all, whether you're held accountable for how you do on this test by a grade or not, I'm held accountable, your school's held accountable, your teachers are held accountable. They're still going to be held accountable for your scores on it. So if you go in and don't do well on it, the only person that you are, for lack of a better term, screwing over is me, your school, and your teachers. And that's a lot of people. And yourself, because you cheat yourself every time you don't do your best on something. So, I'm just asking you to go in and do your best. Even though if you're common sense, if you have common sense, you're gonna realize that this doesn't personally affect you in any way, like as far as the grade is concerned or anything like that. But we will see how you did. And you will know how you did. And, for my part, I hate that this has been such a mess. I don't like to throw people under the bus, but it doesn't have anything to do with what we've done. We just had to wait for the test to come in. And, a lot of people want to pass the buck and, place blame here and there. But, I'm not playing the blame game. I don't know whose fault it is, and I don't care. What I care about is you. And if you're worried about this, look, there's no reason to be worried. You're going to just do what you were going to do anyway, as if everything had gone according to plan. Because our stuff is going according to plan. We're testing exactly when we said we were. We're giving the exact same tests that we thought we were. The only thing different is after it leaves your hands, something different is going to happen to the test that was going to happen before. I'm positive the State Department will do all they can to make sure that they're scored fairly and by a good, reputable company. And that's all we can ask for. So one of my sort of lessons in life is I see a lot of people who are negatively affected by stress physically. So one of my rules in life is I do not worry about things I can't control. And so you have no reason to worry about something you can't control. The only thing you can control is how you perform on this test. And if you do your best, then we're very happy with you. If you don't do your best, then, I'm probably going to talk to you about it, because I want you to do your best no matter what the reason is. Last word, I have an 8-year-old stepson, and he was doing some math problems. And he was, I think they had like 20 problems to do or something. And I was just checking his work, because that's what I do. And, such is the lot of the educator in the house. And so I noticed that he had started off, and he'd started writing really neatly and doing them. And then he got, that frame of mind that 8-year-olds and 18-year-olds and 38-year-olds and 58-year-olds get. It's like, man, I just want to get this done. And he started just scribbling and not being neat and everything, and I made him redo it. And he's like, wants to know why he has to redo it. And my answer to him is, because you should always do the best job you could do. You should always do that. So I'm going to tell an 18-year-old that. I'm going to tell 14 to 18-year-olds that. I'm going to tell my employees that. Everybody, always do your best. So, hope that helps. Hope that alleviates some stress or worry or anything. But if you have questions about this, just ask me. Email me, call me, whatever. I'll be glad to answer any questions I have. But, don't take this frustration out on us, because that's the only person you can hurt by not doing your best on this test. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.